What's going on, everyone? We are back yet again. Moose, how you doing?
Good.
Fantastic. I too am doing good. I'm feeling great. Ready to really help out the next generation, Have you ever thought about how we are like really good guys for doing this?
Yeah.
I mean,
Help out the next generation, and by that, our generation, because God, do we need it?
shut up. Don't say it's our generation. Shut up. You're taking away our what little legitimacy we had. Anyway, today we'll be reviewing, I think, 3 resumes, possibly a 4th if we get a late edition, and hash rate is already waiting in the chat, ready to come on. So let me switch to my thing. Hello, Mooseius. How are you doing? Wave to the camera.
No.
All right, Moose doesn't want to wave. All right.
Here's a dog. You like the dog? It's drinking water.
The dog's off the camera. I cropped the dog out.
His name is Sam.
Yeah.
I'll have to get him on camera at some point.
Yeah, fair enough. Anyway, so we have a good show for you today. And first things first, I'm going to figure out where my Discord window is, and I'm going to bring in our first contestant.
Contestant? Wait, this a game show?
This is a game show. Who wants to get hired? Not by us, but by someone, hopefully. That's the game show.
Ideally.
Theoretically. If you get lucky. Hash rate, how you doing? Hash rate?
Hash rate is...
Oh, hash rate! What's going on?
I'm doing great. How about you guys?
We are doing good. Are you ready to subject yourself to our scrutiny?
Yes.
All right, fantastic. So on your end, hash rate, just direct yourself to... Oh, hold on a second. Who else is here? Somebody. Whoa, hold on. What's going on? Vortex of Doom has followed. Thank you for the follow, Vortex of Doom. I appreciate it.
Yo.
Nice.
Also, Nate, should you do your usual audio check? I think we might need to bump hash rate up a little bit.
That's right. Hash rate, can you speak into the microphone for me? Forgot about that.
Continuously.
Hello.
Okay, so you're going to need to go closer to the microphone and speak up a little bit.
Is this any better or?
That is better, but it's not good yet.
Oh, then let me get my headphones.
All right. Very common occurrence here on the Nate stream. So, Vortex of Doom, I see you are in the thing. There we are, Vortex of Doom. Pay no attention to the name. Fantastic. Perfect. Then we will get you in. We'll slide you in next. And then we'll finish with Thomas. Not to give away the game, but good stuff. Guyman50 says, "Whoa, baby!" So I appreciate the enthusiasm.
All I heard was whoop, and then just your microphone cut out.
Oh,
because of the peaking.
Whoa, baby!
I'm gonna wait for hash rate to be back, but I'm reading ahead a little bit, getting some ideas so we can hammer through these pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
And this is
hash rate.
Say it again, hash rate. Say it. Tell me. My mother told me to pick the very best one, and you are not it.
My mother told me to pick the best one if you are not it.
So you're still
Close
a little
enough.
quiet. You're going to need to get closer to the microphone. And if you have a gain setting, turn that up. Also in Discord, there's a setting where you can turn your input volume up. I think that would be really helpful.
Oh.
Sorry to do it to you. But the way the audio capture works, I have to capture everyone at the same time. And Moose is here the entire time. And
Is this better?
Again, ever so slightly better, but you're not quite loud enough. Are you on a Windows system perchance?
we might just have to roll with it at some point.
Yeah, we may have to roll with it. It'll be all right. Viewers, if you get mad at it, just make sure to if you're angry at the quality of the audio, make sure to subscribe so I recognize your name and think highly of you. And then as you complain, make sure you send your complaint with like 3, 4, 5,000 bits. So then I'll make sure to read it.
Also, you should complain in the Discord as well.
Yeah, and then make sure you
so
boost
that
the Discord. And I have a Discord store. Buy stuff in there. Vortex of Doom says he's audible. Good enough. Let's hop into it. Robert.
Okay.
At mailfence.com. Starting off strong,
Good
right at the
old-
top. It's fantastic.
Good old Robert Scratch.
Robert Scratch.
So skills: Golang, Python, C++, C, JavaScript, TypeScript, Microsoft SQL, Express, Git, React. Okay, Nate, scroll down the resume and let's figure out how long Hashrate has been coding here. See if this is at all believable. Okay, so
we've been over this before. This is a second try. I think this is going to be fun.
oh, we have.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Heteronculus Horklump. Right. Okay. So, all right, back up to the top. In terms of familiarity, hash rate, would you say that? From a read of this, I could sort of believe it, but I wonder, when I read this resume, I think, okay, what are you more familiar with, right, in terms of the skill section? So, I would say it with skills: Go, Python, C++, C. Next to each, you want to say roughly what your years of experience is, which is a bullshit metric, but you have to play the game to some degree. I think. Do you have the previous iteration of your resume as well? Just so we can kind of do a side by side. Because
that'd be a good idea.
I'm trying to remember the previous one. If it's the one I'm thinking of, this is already moving in a lot more of a positive direction.
Yeah,
I think this is a lot
better.
more clear.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember. I realized we've seen this before when it was C++ and C separated, because that's always something I tell people is if you say C/C++, that means you know one of them and you assume you know the other one. But if you say C and C++ differently, that it's like a subtle indication of yes, these are different languages, and yes, I independently know both.
I guess. Do we have the old resume or not?
I delete all the history out of that channel. So Hashrate, if you can produce that, then that'd be great. Otherwise, we'll continue on. Hashrate, you there?
Hello. Oh.
The perils of a live broadcast, of course.
I foretold before we started that the dogs would bark, and the prophecies come true.
Hashrate, you there? I see you muted and unmuted.
Okay, so while we're going through technical difficulties, I'll say of the skill section, I like it so far. It's a good thing to put at the top. It's the relevant experience that that hiring managers are going to want to see.
Yep.
Cloud computing, CI/CD, unit testing, object-oriented programming, Docker, Kubernetes, AWS, Azure. That's all great stuff. That tells me, okay, a lot of backend, a lot of DevOps stuff as well, which is all great to see.
Yep.
So if I was hiring for a DevOps role right away, this is like reading positive across the board. Give me 1 second.
All right. So yeah, microservices, distributed systems, backend. So yeah, as of now, I mean, I know you don't have a whole lot of experience. Okay. You're planning on graduating this year, so a lot of these general concepts, unit testing, object-oriented programming, will go away as your career progresses. But this is a good indicator that you know the basics of what you're doing as a junior programmer. So this is good. So if you could express how long you've been doing these, that would be better. But otherwise, aside from that, I find no issue with the skills section.
Yeah. And down to experience. So I think spearheaded implementation of cross-platform continuous integration tests, encompassing diverse operating systems and binaries, ensuring the robustness and compatibility of critical software components. Collaborated with SAP to enhance SMEs forecasting models. So from last time, I think what we said was to reorder some of the bullet points, that some would have gone better first, because you want to lead with like the harder hitting bullet points. If there's some sort of story to tell as to what you worked on in an organization, a certain product or piece of an application you worked on, you kind of want that to be a narrative, right? So if there's one thing that you can talk about at the top that is going to help explain other things, or you have other things that are going to be supplementary to something else that you did, then you want to start with the first thing, right? That narrative structure that's going to justify why all of the other, bullet points. So even though they're bullet points, someone should be able to read it and derive a story, right? Make sense of it. The language here, I would say, is still a little bit flowery for my tastes. So it's like a lot of embellishments. Spearheaded the implementation of cross-platform continuous integration tests, encompassing diverse operating systems and binaries. You could probably cross out spearheaded. You could just say you led development on the implementation of cross-platform continuous integration tests.
I disagree. I like spearheaded.
Spearheaded, maybe keep that. Encompassing diverse operating systems and binaries, that's kind of implied by saying cross-platform, right? And Nate, your comment last time, if I recall, is when you say operating systems, what? Windows?
That means
Linux,
Windows, Linux,
Mac
and
OS?
Mac, or some combination of them. Yeah.
Yeah. Hash rate, you there?
Yes.
Oh yeah. So
Awesome.
hash rate, real quick before we go on, I'm gonna point out one thing. When you're working with experts a lot, and this is going to happen all across your career, but you're going to see this today when we're reviewing your resume. What happens is the closer you get to perfection, the more very bullheaded people like myself and Mooseius will argue over little tiny details that actually don't matter. And this happens in software a lot. I mean, in my work, I've experienced times where it's like, yeah, but what's the most perfect possible way to do this thing? And we're arguing back and forth for days and days, and everyone's pissed off at each other. So don't take it. So if me and Mooseius get into a quibble about some minor wording thing, that means that it's pretty good, and we're just bullheaded people.
Yeah, that's very true. Hashrate, do you have the old version as well of this? Or
I think the same. I was not able to attend the stream.
Gotcha. Okay, that's fine. So let's see. Give me 1 second here as well. What I can actually do is I can go to the channel, and I believe.
Oh no, I delete everything in the history of the channel.
Oh, you do? Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, not even. Wait, no, I can go to recent broadcasts. I can go back 7 days.
That. Yeah.
Yeah. Hang on. So.
But I think what Hashrate is saying is that he wasn't able to attend, so he wasn't able to defend himself. So there's no changes. I think that's what was going on.
Gotcha. Okay, so this is not changed at all then.
Yeah, I think.
Okay. So if okay, here it is. Okay, yeah. So this is the exact same. So all of the same advice still applies. I was thinking it was like a little bit different, but no, it's not. This is the same. Okay. So let's see. Spearheaded the implementation of cross-platform continuous integration tests, encompassing diverse operating systems and binaries, ensuring robustness and compatibility of critical software components. So I would get rid of the encompassing diverse operating systems and binaries stuff. I would. The key is you've got a lot of good stuff on your resume, right? But a hiring manager is going to be going through like 100 resumes. They're going to be going through a lot of volume. So if they start getting hung up on lots of like the fluff words and stuff, their eyes are going to glaze over. They're not going to be as like engaged. Let's see, leg workshops to educate individuals on organization security tools, promoting awareness and empowering effective tool utilization. Nate, tell me what you think about this. You could get rid of the promoting awareness and empowering effective tool utilization.
Yeah, I mean, that's what a workshop is for.
Yeah. Significantly contributed to enhancing internal security tools, fortifying the organization's security infrastructure. How did you contribute to the internal security tools, Hashrate?
It was through developing the proxy leak detector, which was a internal security tool.
So okay, you developed a proxy as the internal security tool. Is that one of the projects that you mentioned below? Okay, heteronoculus horklump is that it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you shouldn't be putting projects you did for your work in your project section. That should be directly inside of whichever thing. And if you can link to it, that's great. But the project section is generally for personal projects. And you definitely want to have a project section just to make sure that you can explain to employers, like, no, I'm passionate about this stuff. I do it outside of work. And if you put stuff in there from your work, and especially if people can figure out that they're linked, they'll think that you're being a little disingenuous. So you wouldn't want to do that.
Okay. Yeah, as much as you can in a resume, you don't want to state things twice.
Yeah.
That is like of the very few bright line rules there are, that's one of them. So what you could say is that you implemented you enhanced security by implementing this proxy tool. In parentheses, you can say it's open sourced at the following. Maybe you can add another bullet point explaining that you open sourced it and how that helped the organization, so on and so forth. And that is, if I see personally that as part of your job, you developed an open source security tool, I really like that because that says, okay, you did this for your work. Not only that, but I can now go look at your code. Now, if I read your code and I think it's good, that's great. If I read it and I think it sucks, then, well, but, you put your best foot forward. Next bullet point down, integrated binary encoding, providing more flexibility for users to efficiently register domain names using binary values and enhancing the overall registration workflow.
This was something I was curious about. What do you mean by binary encoding?
Users can register domain names using hex values instead of ASCII values. So they can use the binary data.
I'm curious. What was the purpose of that? What are people using?
Some people prefer using binary data over ASCII, over normal characters. Yeah, so it's something the users requested.
Interesting.
So I worked on implementing that.
Huh.
Yep.
In domain names.
Yes.
Okay. That is...
It's very strange.
Or like in domain entries. Okay, so I guess if I had to iterate on that, providing more flexibility for users to efficiently register domain names using binary values and enhancing the overall. So I guess when you say it enhanced the overall registration workflow, is the enhancement just the ability to have these like binary encoded values in domain names?
More of providing more options for the user. So it enhanced the registration for registration capabilities for other users who will use the option for passing the domain names as binary values.
Okay.
Yep.
In that circumstance, I would say that
I think I have a better option here. Both me and Mooseius looked at this and we were very confused. And I can confidently say that me and Mooseius are smarter than in a lot of the hiring managers you'll come across, who may just throw it out after seeing that and say, I don't know what this means. This is BS. Like, it seems a little strange. I would actually just get rid of this dot entirely.
I would say you could rephrase this to say you added an option for users to register domains using binary values.
I wouldn't even want to.
Like that would be the better way to justify it, right? You implemented a feature, you added an option. That if you at least start with that, it kind of makes more sense as to what you're doing. Whereas right now it says you integrated binary encoding. I've done a fair amount of binary encoding stuff, and even that it's so generic. It really doesn't just mean a lot. I can't derive.
Yeah, every encoding is a binary encoding.
Yeah,
that's what encoding means. So it's just very strange.
Vortex of Doom asks, was this just raw UTF-8 bytes or something? Raw UTF-8 bytes is just UTF-8, right? If you have bytes and they're UTF-8, you just have that is a string in most languages. That is a string to most programs, especially web browsers, of which UTF-8 is like the default encoding for pretty much all websites.
As it should be.
Protocols. As it should be. Over the network and in memory. You heard it here. If you're hearing it here for the first time...
Who's going to disagree with you? Every language that isn't Windows BS uses UTF-8 everywhere.
Yeah. UTF-8 manifesto, look it up. That's old now, but it's entirely correct and remains correct.
Shotmiss. Browsers actually use UTF-8 internally. All right, thank you, Shotmiss.
Okay. Next. So that role, software engineer of April 2023 to present. So almost a year. Awesome. Next one down, software engineer intern at Scratch, Munich, Germany. And this was for how long? Oh, there it is. Okay, so only 2 months. And I'm recalling this. This is pretty good. Like there was a lot of very actionable stuff here for 2 months. So collaborated with SAP. What does that mean? To enhance SMEs sales forecasting using external factors like social media trends and economic indicators. So I think if I recall the previous stream, my revision would be to say that you analyze social media trends and economic indicators to build sales forecast models, or you forecasted sales by analyzing social media trends and economic indicators. What does SAP and SME mean?
Oh, SAP is the German company which makes ERP systems.
Okay, so that's an acronym. So
Yep,
so what does the acronym stand for?
So it's just SAP. That's the
It's
company.
these guys, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Let's see. Collaborated with SAP to enhance SME Nate. Is there a reason your cursor's bouncing all over the screen?
Oh, it's because I'm bouncing my leg on my chair, and my arm is resting on my chair leg and on my mouse.
It was very distracting.
I'm sorry, am I distracting you?
A little bit. Okay. So, and what are SMEs?
SMEs are small and medium businesses, yeah, or enterprises.
Okay. I've never heard the term before.
Yeah, I'm unfamiliar as well.
When you say collaborated with SAP, what you could do is you could make that a link to the company, because right now the way that's formatted, when I see SAP, I'm like, oh, is this some sort of acronym for something? But no, it's a company. So if you link to that, that kind of explains it. Instead of saying SMEs, you could just use normal language, like small to medium sized businesses. With the former refactoring of the language I mentioned, you could probably fit all that onto one line as well. You also led the establishment of a robust data pipeline by spearheading data scraping efforts from diverse social media platforms and news outlets utilizing both Python and TypeScript. So if I had to rephrase this, I would say that you spearheaded data scraping efforts. Spearheaded data scraping efforts.
From, and then list off a couple of the social media platforms and a couple of the news outlets.
Yeah, you could also say that you spearheaded data scraping of social media platforms and news outlets, utilizing Python and TypeScript, and then on the following bullet point, you could explain how you those pipelines were like advantageous to the business, what they did. You leverage AWS to create automated pipelines, deploying scrapers as microservices for daily data collection.
So this was a question I had last time. Was this the same project? It was an AWS pipeline written in TypeScript and Python microservices?
Yes, it was the same project.
Okay, so you're saying that you created pipelines twice. You're repeating yourself here. So maybe you could say that you made the project and then you used AWS Python TypeScript with a microservice architecture. So it's still 2 bullet points, but led the establishment of a robust data pipeline, and then saying created automated pipelines again. That reads wrong, and it looks like it might be two projects instead of just one.
Okay.
So if you say you made the pipeline, and then just say what technologies you used, and then it'll kind of indicate, well, these were the technologies used in the pipeline. If that makes sense.
And the 4th bullet point here, played a key role in backend development and system design, laying the technical groundwork for seamless data integration.
Was that the same project?
Yes.
Get rid of it then.
Yeah, get rid of that bullet point. So I guess it bears repeating a little bit. I won't dwell on it too long. The more you repeat yourself, the more frustrated the hiring managers are going to get. You're going to wear out their patience like that, and they're just going to be like, next. Because it's like, oh, like, why am I reading this? Wasting my time.
And I don't know every hiring manager, but when I'm acting as hiring manager, I get frustrated very quickly. I can tell you that much for sure.
I will. If you're at the top of the stack, you're probably lucky. If I'm through 10, 20, 30, my irritation is going to go up as I get tired, and at some point, I'm not going to have the patience for it. Collaborated with the AI team to streamline data analysis by transforming diverse analyzers into efficient API endpoints. This innovation simplified our approach, cutting down on the need to store large volumes of data and reducing AWS costs.
Was this the same project?
Yes.
So
you're kind of saying the same thing 4 different ways. There's a more efficient way to do this.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a repetition.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So
I'm wondering if I want.
The way I would do this is I would say that you led the establishment of the data pipeline, and then the next one say that you utilize a microservice architecture within AWS. And you can say you implement it in Python and TypeScript. And then on the led the establishment one, the first point, say that you collaborated with the AI team to lead the establishment of the pipeline. So that way you're not repeating the same key phrases over and over again. You only want to say each. You only want to say each thing once. So you said you led an establishment of a pipeline. You say you use Python and TypeScript. You say you use AWS. You say it was microservice architecture, and you say you collaborated with the AI team to do it. And then try to say all of that in as few words as possible, so that you don't end up repeating pipeline, AWS. You know.
Yep.
And now
Data
you also
iteration, data
say
collection, whatever. Yeah.
that you reduced AWS costs. How much? How much money did you save? And what were these large volumes of data? Because when people say large volumes of data, that means very different things to a lot of people.
Yes.
Yeah, a large volume of data in a code base is like 2 megs. A large volume of data for Google is like 100 terabytes.
So how
Actually,
much
way more than
data?
that. 10,000 terabytes.
What was the reduction? Like, how much data volume did you save?
Not a lot, but I'd say maybe a couple of, maybe close to 2 GB per day. So
Uh,
not a lot, but
what was the unit there?
what the unit?
Yeah, gigabytes, megabytes, terabytes,
Gigabytes.
gigabytes.
Yeah, gigabytes.
What was the total amount of data processed?
Processed at so maybe 10 gigabytes per day.
Okay, so if you saved it by 2 gigabytes a day, then that's a 20% reduction, right?
Yep.
Then, yeah, you can say reducing data storage costs by 20%.
Okay, yeah. Percentage is better.
And I would put that on its own dot. Just say, like, on its own bullet point, just say reduced AWS costs by 20%.
Yeah. You have to be careful saying large volumes of data because 20% is good. I like 20% because it's relative. And, if you are cutting down the volume of data that has to be stored from, like, I don't know, a gigabyte to a megabyte, obviously that's great for whatever workflow that is. That is a good savings. Even in this case, 10 to 8, 20%, that's an awesome savings as well. That shows that systems are being more efficient. But when you say large volumes of data, like large in a lot of organizations means terabytes, right? I was listening to a podcast today, and this dude worked at Terso, and he's like, yeah, when people say like, oh, we need big data solutions, it's like, okay, how much data do you have? 100 gigabytes. No, that doesn't pass for big data, right? So like you really have to be in that threshold almost, which perhaps it's a bit gatekeeping, but that's how it is, right? We have like NVMe drives that store a terabyte of data are commodity these days. Yeah. Like, exactly.
Yeah, you can get a 4 terabyte drive for a couple of hours of pay, depending on. Yeah.
So, moving on, software engineer, intern. So, that role above, 2 months, even though you only held that role for 2 months, I think you did something really impactful, and that's a really good thing to have on a resume. It just has to be expressed more concise. Otherwise, I think your experience is awesome. This is all really good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Intern, this was for, about 4 months. Engineered a dynamic proxy leak detector leveraging Golang, C, and Shell for detecting and preventing proxy leaks in the Namecoin and Tor ecosystems. Was this also Heteronculus Horklump?
Yeah, that was.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so did you use the same project in both roles? Was this the same company, number 1 and number 3?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Let's look at these together. Okay, so your current role is
Interesting.
more of a. Okay.
So it seems like for your first stint at this place, your first internship, you worked on this proxy leak detector, right?
Yep.
And okay, that was go see shell, awesome. And then you significantly contributed to enhancing internal security tools, fortifying the organization's security infrastructure. Like that bullet point, you're talking about Horklump, which again, repeating yourself at this point, you're hitting on the same achievement 3 times now, which is now you're really tiring out. Like I'm going to say like 90% of hiring managers.
Yep.
It's not that it's bad work. It's that it's really good work, and that it stands for itself, right? It's like when someone, you know, if you tell a funny joke, everyone in the room laughs. You know, if you tell an unfunny joke, you have those people that like to say it again and slower. And it's like, yeah, it's not going to hit any better the second or third time you say it, right? And I don't think you'll have any problem if you mention Horklump, like in the third bullet point, and you talk about it, like that's going to hit home. It's going to hit home really well, right? It's quality over quantity. So, engineered a dynamic proxy leak detector leveraging Go C shell for detecting and preventing proxy leaks in the Namecoin and Tor ecosystems. What I like about this bullet point too is that you're getting more specific. So, what does Horklump do? It prevents proxy leaks in Namecoin and Tor ecosystems. That is so much better because it is an identifiable and actionable thing. Whereas the one above, that's just like, oh, I made the security better. Doesn't really say much. Completed automated testing by creating test cases and scripts to ensure reliability and accuracy of the tool. So, was this testing stuff when you completely automated testing by creating testing scripts? Were you implementing tests for Horklump?
Yes.
Okay, it's a good thing to mention. In the experience at the top, are you continuing to implement those tests for Horklump as well?
No. Those are different software. That's a different software I was implementing tests for.
Okay. So I would say you want to mention that as well, that you implemented a robust Nate, can you go to Horklump real quick? Let's open up the repo and let's see these unit tests. What I assume are unit tests. They could be integration tests. Also, I think you can just click the link on the document, or
It's
no, it's a PNG.
Yeah.
Oh no, we have this problem.
Heteronucleus. You know what? I'm just gonna. Here we go.
You might just search it on GitHub too.
The fourth link.
Poorly named project. I'm gonna say it.
I like that. 7 stars as well. Okay, test data, main.go, add lint. So I assume it'll be under test data. Is that where the tests are?
Yes, but yeah, okay, yeah.
Let's just shell check. Let's see. Where are the tests?
I've not yet merged the tests, but
okay. Yeah, you'll definitely want to merge those tests in so that anybody can see that it's well tested, because you claim to have it well tested, but you can't see that in there. And then when you send this out as a PDF, make sure I would take this out of projects and put it into here, and then link to it.
Yeah. And you integrated the tool seamlessly, ensuring compatibility with existing tools and no new security risks. So, what did it take to integrate this tool seamlessly?
It was more of manually testing it to see how, because the tool had some issues running with heavier programs, so it was more of manually testing if the company software works with the tool.
So this was something I mentioned last time. No new security risks is a very bold claim, and it's very difficult to prove. And a claim of no new security risks is going to raise eyebrows among hiring managers.
Yeah. It's unless it's true, which I can't imagine it is, because it is like unless you are writing formal proofs for stuff, it is kind of hard to say that there are no new security risks in a piece of software. Next line: enhance network security, actively identifying and preventing data leaks, contributing to overall security resilience. So
is the
that
data
line,
leak the same as the proxy leak, or is that a different thing?
Same thing.
Okay, then don't repeat the same thing. That's what we're already saying.
Yes.
we're starting to break our own rule here, aren't we, Nate?
Yeah, I know.
How meta. Unearthed and addressed previously undiscovered vulnerabilities, reinforcing the organization's security.
Was that the same project?
Yes.
All right. Then we can move on.
Next one. So this stuff was also pretty cool as well. Built a dynamic pricing system with customizable templates in JavaScript and Python, streamlining payment monitoring. Wrote extensive unit and end-to-end UI tests with Justin Playwright, which served as the team's primary accessibility reviewer. Built a complete library of reusable React components for user. Sorry about that, interrupting dogs.
No worries.
So, built a dynamic pricing system with customizable templates in JavaScript and Python. So, explain to me what was this dynamic pricing system? What were you pricing? How did the prices fluctuate? What were you monitoring?
It was more of it provides. It was more of like billing the customer. So it provides like your business can provide, and I'm not sure how to explain. Oh, but since the company was sending manual invoices, so it was to automate the process where the user can say what they want, then the, they get their price, how much they should pay the company. So that was the project.
Okay, so when you say dynamic prices, was this an algorithm that was being done? So, X services rendered with Y materials, therefore charge people this much? Or was this just an invoicing system?
It was a combination of both. So after
Okay.
it's done, after it calculates the price, it also provides the invoice.
Gotcha.
So how complex was this algorithm to determine the price? Was it just a function of how many things somebody bought?
Yeah, it was not complex.
I got some bad news for you, buddy. You wrote an invoicing system.
Yeah.
And I would say invoicing over dynamic pricing, because dynamic pricing is going to lead to this very conversation. And if you're trying to pass an invoicing system off as something greater than an invoicing system, then a hiring manager is going to look poorly upon that. So I'd recommend just saying rewrote an invoicing system, wrote an invoicing system.
And I think also with the other work you've done on the proxy leak detector, on just the doing the invoicing system here, doing the data scraping above, you have so much good stuff to talk about. I don't think you have to overinflate your accomplishments either. And yeah, it will lead to this very conversation. That's actually kind of I dare say an endemic problem to hiring as well, where people put a lot of like stuff on their resume that they can't really back up
Yeah, this is
in
something I always
an
say.
interview.
Yeah, this is absolutely something I always say about the skills. This is a reasonable number of skills. You know, 2 languages that are pretty much the same thing, and then 4 other languages. One of them's Python. That's not too bad, but a lot of people have lists of languages that go on forever. And if I'm a hiring manager and I see someone put some ridiculous language that most people have never heard of, I'm gonna see if that person can write that language and figure out if they were lying on that part of the resume. So you definitely want to make sure to accurately represent your skills.
Intrusive thought. Where's Docker and Kubernetes? Where'd you use those?
Oh, I use them on mostly. I've used Docker on personal projects and also some of them during the current job. Some of the tests, you have to use some Docker containers to run the tests, and also to when you're testing the binaries are also built in the Docker containers. So,
Yeah, you definitely want to make sure to mention that.
I would absolutely make mention of that.
Yeah, you put that in here somewhere.
Even if you aren't like, making some massive Google scale Kubernetes cluster, you don't have to be. If you just use Docker, you understand what a container is, how to build images, how to deploy, run, and interact with them. That's good stuff. And yeah, so you built an invoicing system, wrote extensive unit and end-to-end UI tests with Justin Playwright, which served as the team's primary accessibility reviewer. Let's see. So that's good. Instead of saying which served as the team's primary accessibility reviewer, I would say that you ensured or tested accessibility using end-to-end tests. That justification is just much better because, like, okay, here's the value add, here's how you did it. Built a complete library of reusable React components for user input and interaction. Let's see, complete library. So that seems pretty reasonable to me. When you say you built a complete library, did you make your own UI framework, or were these just components of the invoicing system, the UI?
It was components because the invoicing system is part of a larger system. So it was components. Yeah.
Okay, so that's something good to mention too, is that you were integrating all this stuff with React into a larger existing system. That's actually pretty, I would say, considerable feat unto itself. I know React was originally made to do this, but not a lot of people know that. And most people, when they use React, they're using it in like Next.js, or their entire front end is in React. So the fact that like you were able to package this thing up and make it work in an existing system, that's worth mentioning as well. It also shows like, pragmatic problem solving. It's like, yeah, I need this system that's more interactive. It has more of these app-like features than the system can currently support. So you're able to integrate with React with it. That's all good. Software engineer intern played a key role in developing a web scraping tool that made support programs accessible to students using Python and JavaScript. Can you explain this to me? So how did web scraping make support programs more accessible to students?
It was scraping programs such as seminars which are happening around the school, and also informing students about some free support programs such as software engineering bootcamps and internships. Yeah. So those were the support programs.
Okay, so you were scraping these websites and then passing students notifications when they were available, or just aggregating the information?
We had a school blog, so we were using that to pass the information.
Okay. I guess I'm having a little bit of a hard time understanding that, but I'll accept it. Maybe more bullet points will help me understand. Designed and implemented the web scraping algorithms using Python and orchestrated the complete automation of updates. Okay, so using Python and JavaScript, using Python, repeating yourself, contributed to building a backend REST API with Express for Node.js, using SQLize to interface with a MariaDB database. Contributed to building a backend REST API. Was this just you working on it? Were you working with part of a team? What was
No. Yep, I was mostly more of support, and because I was really new to it, was my first internship, so I was more of helping than doing most of the coding. Yep.
okay? I think it's fair to say you could just say you contributed to a backend REST API, written in Express and Node, instead of saying contributed to building. That's just kind of punching up the words a little bit, making it more concise. Using SQLize to interface with a MariaDB database. You could just say with MariaDB. Improved accessibility to support programs led to tangible enhancements in academic performance and overall student success. Do you have numbers for this? Or do you have some anecdotal case study where some student was like, oh, well, I wasn't doing well and now I am? Or are.
No,
Okay.
no, Italy.
Would you say that you increased awareness of these programs?
Yes.
Might be more honest, and also, just as good of a value add as well. And that covers experience. So down to education, Bachelor of Science, major in mechanical engineering. Oh, neat. Experience, right. Developing and debugging software for embedded systems such as microcontrollers and sensors. Experience working with sensors and actuators commonly used in robotics and automation applications such as motors and encoders. So there's, as we said with the above bits of experience, there's probably more actionable language you could use than just say, "Oh, well, I have experience with this stuff." You can, spend one or two bullet points talking about what you did. When you talk about embedded systems, we're doing Arduino, Raspberry Pi, real-time operating systems, projects. Neatbird implemented an AI agent using neuroevolution of augmenting topologies algorithm to play Flappy Bird. Neat. Mentorship, teaching assistant, taught engineering concepts, guided students through problems. I would just cross out the taught engineering concepts thing. You could just say you guided students through problem sets and numerical computing in MATLAB and Mathematica. And that would be just fine. And then you got some certifications. Awesome. And that's it. Sorry, that was a lot. That was about an hour.
Yeah.
Didn't think it would take that long, but there we go.
All right. So yeah. So final verdict. I gave the final verdict in the last video. I forget what the verdict is. And I don't want to disagree with myself. I'm not gonna have anyone clip me arguing with myself. So thanks for coming on. Do you have any final thing to say before we unceremoniously dump you back into the Hangout chat in the Discord?
No. Just wanted to say thank you for the great feedback, and I'll definitely make the changes.
Yeah, and just to summarize, more concise, less flowery language. Don't repeat yourself. That's the biggest thing.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming on.
Is-
Oh, I cut him off. I didn't mean to do that. All right. So next up, I suppose, will be Vortex of Doom. Kind of scared of a doom-filled vortex.
Oh my.
Yeah. So he's got two of them. One from October of 23 and one more recent one. Let's bring him on and figure out which one exactly we want to look at. What's going on, Vortex?
Hello.
Hello.
I think your audio is going to be pretty close to good. Can you speak a little bit more?
Hello. Yes, I
Yep,
can speak.
Your audio is fantastic. So, which one
Excellent.
do you want us to look at? Resume 2.docx-1.pdf or resume oct23.pdf?
You know, maybe the older one. The newer one, I don't know. I had someone go over it. Kind spent a little money that I definitely shouldn't have. Well, I should clarify. I definitely learned a little about some of the, like, I've gotten a couple more interviews since I changed it, but I definitely think that the other one has more substance of the type that you guys will care about.
Actually, if you don't mind, I'd like to review the review. I want to do a side-by-side comparison. Let's see if
Tear it to shreds.
if we agree.
Because
Let me throw this bad boy open. Oh no.
Just for a tiny amount of context, I am no experience. I went back to school to do like a graduate prep, because my undergrad was not STEM related at all, and I know I'm not very hireable right now, but one of the things right now
that attitude.
Right, yeah, I know, but right now what I'm aiming toward is grad school applications, and that is not what the resume review is for, but
Interesting. So
hold on a second. Sorry, I gotta.
Oh, is it not opening in the web browser properly?
That's not the problem. It was you didn't redact it properly, so I
yeah, I did not
dox you for a second.
That's fine.
Well,
I realized that as well, and I was like, if anyone thinks I'm worth harassing,
fair enough.
More power to them, I guess.
I mean, Moose did the same thing, and he only got one phone call.
So
I appreciate it, though. I appreciate the effort.
Yeah.
I am not a very collegiate person. A lot of colleges, I think, look for curriculum vitaes, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know how that works, actually.
Well, the main one I am considering is the Georgia Tech online one.
Hey, Georgia Tech, I'm like 100 yards from there.
Oh, nice. It's a pretty, like, their model, generally speaking, as I've seen, is to admit most people and let the program weed them out, because it's online. It's like massively online, so but it's pretty well regarded still, and yeah, I have a now 4-year-old liberal arts degree, so I have to take what I can get.
Ooh, what's your degree in?
Yeah,
music studies. I focused on conducting, and then because I'd been doing it my whole life, and then I sort of realized I don't actually want to. So
well, that's fair. I'll say that this is totally a biased take. If you are into music and you went to school for music, you're gonna succeed in software. Like,
I appreciate the confidence. I think I agree that I think I can succeed in it. I'm not. I was very intimidated at first, but I really like it. So
honest to goodness, if you can take something as open-ended as like music, you can get analytical about it, understand music theory and all this stuff. I'm of course not really into that. I played an instrument like ages ago. I wish I'd stuck with music, but it's complicated. It's very tricky, and if you can understand all that stuff, I feel like you can understand software. No problem. So this massively online course, with universities, my concern is that some of them want like a very structured document in a certain way. I suppose that's not the case if you say that they accept most people. You just have to essentially pass their bar, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get into it. Dan Larson, welcome to the chat. St. Cloud, Minnesota, software engineering, application development, IT solutions. Got to be honest.
This is all.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Sorry, I go ahead.
I don't particularly care for this. Not gonna lie.
It is not that was not my my writing.
Interesting. You see, Mooseius, we're going to be going up against some professionals here. So this is...
Summary of qualifications. Accomplished professional with experience in software engineering encompassing software architecture, system development and implementation, web and application development, and open source library contributions.
Ignore that. That's coming out in the end, I think. I just it teased me out even writing that I'm an accomplished professional, even though I know that recruiters love seeing that, but yeah, I can't do it in good faith. I just like listening to you guys in the last one. I'm just like, I almost backed out. I almost chickened out.
That's funny.
Just because I know this is a.
Oh well, this is the problem. We are, Don't worry about that. But what's going to happen is a lot of the time we'll give you different answers than a recruiter would, because we understand software and we have taken, I mean, I'm a manager at my job, and I've been involved in the hiring process and for a while, and Moose also has been involved in the hiring process. In interviewing people, looking over resumes, everything. We're coming at from we are engineers, and we're trying to see if this is someone we want to work with perspective. And the recruiters are looking at it as, I'm a recruiter and I'm trying to do my best, but not an engineer. So there will be some headbutting between the recruiters and the engineers looking at a resume.
I'll say accomplished professional with experience in software engineering. That is very much a show don't tell type of thing, right? Yeah. Like, don't tell me you're an accomplished professional. That's what I should derive from reading your resume, right? Also, if it's not true, it's going to be a castle made of feathers, right? Like, don't say it if it's not going to hold up to scrutiny. And also, in terms of us, like, my goal here at least is not to like tear people down and to make them feel bad or ashamed about themselves, right? The difference is, we're going to say something. Hiring manager will just discard your resume with irreverence and send you the rejection, right?
Or not even send you a rejection.
There's a
fair amount of both. Yeah, that's
20 to 50% chance that they will not even send you the rejection. They'll just do nothing. And
20 to 50%, 80 to 90%.
So, summary of qualifications: with experience in software engineering, encompassing software architecture. I would hope so. If you have experience in software engineering, system development, and implementation. Implementation? Whoa! I mean, you're out here telling me that
what's the difference between development and implementation? He's going to get rid of this. Let's move on. I need to roast this guy.
Yeah. These are LinkedIn buzzwords, I think. If it was the justification, but yeah.
Well, did you write this, or was
I did not? No, I did not write that.
Oh my!
Yeah, so he's losing his mind because this is the most recruiter-brained resume he's ever seen in his life. And recruiter-brain stuff and engineering-brain stuff do not get along well. So
I mean,
this isn't recruiter brain. This is just stupid.
To his credit, I have gotten like 4 calls from recruiters since I put this up, which like I don't know, man.
Okay.
Well, see, you've just shot an arrow into the break in the armor of Nate and Moose doing the resume review stream because I believe you,
right.
And I don't know what happens before a resume gets to me as a hiring manager. So
I almost want to. I won't dwell on this, but I do want to see what it was before, right? Because there might be other things that they had you update that have gotten you more calls.
Yeah, let's take a look.
But
of course, if you're just getting calls from recruiters, then that's a different thing.
One of the things is I currently drive bus, and I have been doing that. This is my 9th year doing it, and that is on the old one, along with, and they, I was like, should I take that out? And they're like, yeah, maybe. I don't know, like, because a lot of technical recruiters don't like. I think with the saturation of the field as it is, that anyone who's like not living and breathing tech according to their resume gets is an easy discard. But
I could imagine that being true in certain cases, but that annoys me.
I'm with you.
Okay, so
all right, so it's a way worse font on the new one. I can tell you that much for sure.
Oh, really? Cool.
I hate the Daniel Larson at the top. Daniel Larson over here. This is calm and collected. This is nice. This is elegant. This is This is something. I don't know how I feel about that.
Is the font size also different?
Because the font size is different, but the font itself is different. Maybe you can't see it because you're not looking at a ProRes display. But
so areas of expertise.
This is also a list straight from LinkedIn of like things I had selected. So
yeah,
I'm sorry. I won't interrupt. I will let you.
No, you're fine.
Let you question me.
There's a lot of things I suppose I would look for in a developer: backend web development, machine control systems, embedded firmware design. If I was hiring for different roles, but formatted the way they are, this is just like a block of text, and my eyes just kind of glaze over looking at it. They're not bad things to mention, but you want to kind of address them more specifically. Technical and software skills: Rust, Git, REST APIs, HTML, CSS, Visual Studio, C#, Python, Java, TypeScript, Bash, Windows Office 365, Linux, Unity. Okay. So you've been doing. Sorry, I'm just trying to get a figuring this out. Professional experience: software developer, freelance, remote, made 2019 to present. Full 16-bit.
Yeah, I have done a couple of one-off websites for friends. I am not a professional, or I don't consider myself a professional.
I don't know.
Did they pay you for it?
Accomplished professional. Nice try.
Did they pay you?
Sort of. I don't know. Like barter system.
Then you're a professional.
You know.
That's it. Game
Fair
over.
enough. Okay. Fair enough. Not all these things are directly, but go ahead.
Man, look at the areas of expertise. This is so like recruiter brand.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I need to focus myself. Full 16-bit computer architecture implementation. Hardware design language: Rust, Python. Wrote a compiler for a Java-like programming language.
Keep going. With a full stack-based VM representation and use a test-driven approach to write an operating system. Develop full emulator with STL IO backend as well as an FPGA implementation and Verilog on actual hardware. That is super neat, and I like the way it's presented over here so much more.
Excellent. Okay, I will.
I like your old resume. I really don't like your new resume. That's
Okay. For
Yeah.
a starting point, I think I can work with that. Go back to.
I have no idea what this is telling you though, because this is such mixed signals. You're getting better experience with the new one, and I see why.
To be fair,
shoved.
To be fair, some of it was after the start of the new year, so like I'm sure some of that is literally just
budgets open up
end
after
of the year. People aren't doing so like it might be correlation and not causation, but
no, I can tell you there's some causation here because these are all keywords that people look for, and when I say people, I mean that that recruiters look for, that engineers, that managers don't necessarily care about. I mean, the keywords managers care about, but not in this way.
Right.
So I guess what I should ask is, what sort of area of programming are you interested in doing that you want to go for? Is it embedded, web? What you thinking? What do you like doing the most?
I really get in my groove doing like the systems low level work. So that project is, I don't know if you've heard of NAND to Tetris.
Oh yeah.
But that was the kind of like framework that I did that through, and I really grooved on like finding ways to like turn one assembly instruction into two, and like making or one VM instruction into two, and looking at how the compiler like letting the language do if else, like letting getting close down and implementing an allocator was really fun. So yeah, that's the stuff I really like, and that's one of the reasons I'm thinking grad school rather than doing like a web dev or hire, train, deploy kind of thing, because like I don't want to do front end, because that I have a lot of terribly perfectionistic tendencies that I can't escape when I'm doing like front end and looking at the design. Like, does that look good enough is a really hard question to answer, in a way that does this work well enough isn't as hard to answer. So that's, I definitely have found a much happier medium in the the further back and the further down I go.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'm kind of in the same boat, but sadly I've progressed my career too far in the web backend arena, so I can't do any embedded stuff.
What's your favorite language?
Rust still, I think. I am really liking Zig since I've started working with it. But Rust, I'm pretty adept with at this point. I don't want to say like I haven't worked on anything like large scale where I've been supervised on it. So like I have a limited knowledge of exactly how good I am at it, but I definitely am at a point where I can recognize, like I was just looking at a code base that was using vectors under the hood to like emulate a B tree, like doing only B tree operations, but like just inserting into an array, and like that all that O of n, like just no reason to do it, assuming it's sorted, all those things, and like I can see that.
The fact that you are peeling back libraries, you mentioned what an allocator is, you're into Zig and stuff, and with Rust, the supervision shouldn't matter as much, because if it compiles, it's good to go, right? That's like half the point, I guess.
That's actually one reason that I really gravitated toward it, because like I started doing like C++ and C, or even C#, like any like the the errors
Okay.
aren't helpful in the same
So-
way that, like, yeah.
I'm getting a picture here of what's going on. So you'll have to bear with my I feel like I've been rather silent and not very good on the feedback thus far. So take it from the top real quick. You're applying to grad school. You're hoping to get into one of these MOOCs or massively online courses.
Mhm.
You want to make sure that you pass the bar, but
Mhm.
still relatively low stake. Now, in terms of the hits that you've been getting, I can tell you why right away. The left side, in spite of all of the problems, is getting you more hits, and that is the professional experience section, right? The fact that you say that you have been a software developer on the left side for roughly May 2019 to present, that makes it almost 5 years? Almost 5 years. That immediately makes you look much more attractive to recruiting managers and stuff compared to the right, where you know,
You're
say
a bus driver for the last
which
decade. Yeah.
I will tell you, I respect the shit out of you for that.
Everyone
But-
says that.
It is not relevant to programming. Also, when you omit it and you say that you're a freelance developer, it makes it seem like you're supporting yourself with your work. So okay, we've cracked the case.
We've
Right.
cracked it. We figured it out. Sherlock.
Yeah, because for a moment I was a little blown away.
I gotta be honest. When I was looking through all of this, to hear,
Mhm.
I was like, "What the fuck? Who is looking at this resume and thinking this is a good idea?" But
It's like,
this
am I out of
explains
touch?
everything 200%. I thought I was out of touch. I thought I was an idiot. You saw I was over here imploding. But no, this makes sense. This is the number one, like, fucking ace in the hole that solves everything.
Okay. I would say if you are applying to one of these online courses, the fact that you have already completed a Bachelor of Arts in Music Studies, you've gone through prep program, you've obviously done a lot of programming, and you're very passionate about, I would hope that you have no problem getting into a university. So I want to use the bathroom, and then I want to set the bar a little bit higher.
Oh,
I actually-
whoa!
I do not want to be driving bus until I'm done with grad school. So like that is
Okay.
definitely the next hurdle to clear
So-
anyway. So
I will
certainly.
be right back, and we're going to start reviewing this and orienting it towards internships and entry-level positions. Let's do that instead.
sounds great.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that because all of this stuff is just bait for the recruiters. This stuff is bait for recruiters. This is good. Where do I go with this? Got some open source contributions. While he's gone, you want to throw down a link to one of these things that you've done, and you'll want to add in the links later on. One of
Sure.
those things you
Yeah.
contributed
The one that I am happiest with is the bit by bit one.
All right.
Because can toss that in. Why no links is because I didn't put them in originally. I sort of just wasn't thinking of, like, I watched the last one and I was like, oh yeah, it's a PDF. That's how I send it. Like, just put a link in there. I think in a earlier one, I actually had some links to something, but
Mm-hmm. So
but
where,
yeah,
where you want to post that bad boy? Just throw it down literally anywhere. I'll find it.
I put it in chat, just and the proc macro. I don't know if you've used Rust or anything. Like,
I have not
but,
a whole lot though. I'm not good at it.
But the proc macro just like takes whatever is written below it and like reinterprets it, spits it out, compiles on its own, whatever. But when there was an error, and I had just started using it, I was using it for the emulator of the Nan to Tetris thing. And if I made an error, like it had error messages, but none of them were like spanned appropriately to where. So like it would just be like it would. So on the screen where it's like the basic declaration where it says bit field U32 on top, it would just like underline that in red and say the proc macro panicked. But I filed an issue and the author was like, I'm not sure how to do that. And so I went in and I found, what caused all the macros, and I turned them into compilation errors instead of panicking. And now it is much more pleasant to use. And I saw the crate recommended somewhere after I had done this, and it was just a really cool thing.
Oh yeah, this is very interesting. Now the problem is I'm not very good at reading Rust code yet. I've written a small amount, and I've read.
No one's good at reading Rust code.
Yeah, I'm trying to look through here, and unless I parse it line by line, I'm not going to be able to figure this out.
And these are proc macros too, which is just like
just kill me now.
A whole nother can of worms. This was my first time like really digging into them, and it was quite a journey.
Yeah, this is interesting. Man, this is wild. So, Moose, just to catch you up, we're looking over one of these repos.
I heard, so you rewrote and revised a bunch of stuff to throw better compiler errors. And is this your repo as well, Bitfield?
No, it is not my repo. But I had found it.
Oh, there you go. Oh, you've got commits. Yeah. Awesome. So like already just the fact that like you are even thinking about this stuff, like you are thinking about compiler errors, developer experience, just you are already like so just well fit for a software job, right? I love this. This is amazing.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm waiting for getting to an interview where I'm with someone who is actually a developer, because when I do, I think I will make at least a good impression. Like I'm not, it's a tough market. I'm not like claiming it's a slam dunk at that point, but I know that's where I have a better chance. But
it's a slam dunk. Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Like, I'm pretty certain of that.
This is to go into a code base written in Rust and to understand what's going on and then modify it. Wild stuff.
Let alone Rust macros. Okay, so let me get my brain back on track. So it's kind of hard to revise two resumes.
Well, what I'm thinking is the idea is to take all the good stuff from this one and put it into this format, because I hate this format. This format is killing me.
Yes. So full 16-bit computer architecture implementation. You develop full emulator with an STL IO backend as well as an FPGA implementation in Verilog. That's fucking amazing. I love that. That's a project, right?
Yeah.
Oh shit! Hit my microphone. My bad. Custom language interpreters, a created bytecode interpreter programming can be used to execute code from files or as a REPL, improve performance by 5 to 10 times over the initial completed version using full-lane graph profiling. Oh my.
Ooh.
And a dating website used C# and TypeScript to create a secure, scalable site with a responsive dynamic UI on both desktop and mobile. Okay. So the challenge here is going to be fleshing out the professional experience and then also fitting in all of the projects and open source contributions. The challenge with open source contributions and projects is it usually takes like a lot more describing. So let's see. What other stuff have you done in these past 4 years as a freelance? Have you worked on any other sites and whatnot?
Not a whole lot. Like I did some like I did a site for my brother that he's not even using.
Is
Doesn't
it
matter.
online though? Is it up?
That's
Can you get it
well,
up?
no,
Oh,
maybe.
Ah.
Well, probably.
Okay.
But,
Whoa, hold on. That doesn't matter. You made something for someone. If you made what they asked, and then they decided they didn't like it, that's their problem, right?
Yeah, I mean,
That's on them.
yeah.
I'd take it a step
That's
further.
so valuable.
I'd take it a step further. Change the names to protect the guilty and throw it up there somewhere. Link to it. Easy.
I can't tell you the amount of times that actually happens in business where it's like, yeah, I worked on something for like weeks or even months, and then someone just changed their mind, right?
Right.
Like, so you can still list that as experience. You know, you did it for someone as a job. You got paid for it, technically.
Right.
And if someone asks you, like, oh, well, did you get paid for this? You can just say, yeah, well, what'd they pay you? And you just say, oh, they paid me what they could afford. I don't quite remember. That's
Okay,
fair.
that's a good one. That's a good
that's-
one.
That's an unimpeachable answer.
Yeah.
Might be a little bit dodgy. Also honest.
Those are the best
so-
answers, dodgy and honest.
That's
covering
the only
all
way
the
I
bases.
talk.
So, let's see. Should I start? I want to start bulleting out some stuff. So, I'm going to bring myself up an editor real quick and talk to me about the dating site. So, you made it with C# and TypeScript. What's the dating site called? Is it up? Is it online? Can I go to it?
It's on my GitHub. I think it's public. It's not. That was definitely the project where I was figuring out that I did not love front end work.
Oh, every front end project. I got you.
Well, but that's the last one I worked on. Like, I have not meaningfully touched anything front end since.
Fair enough.
But
Okay,
yeah,
I
I
see.
think it's on my GitHub.
So,
But
regardless of that, let's talk about it because you made it. So you use
Sure.
C# and TypeScript to create a secure, scalable site with a responsive dynamic UI on both desktop and mobile. So I'm assuming used C# and .NET for the backend, ASP.NET?
yes, ASP.NET.
Okay.
was-
And then the front end, TypeScript, I assume React?
No, it was Angular.
Oh,
Oh,
Interesting.
okay.
Yeah, it is not my wisest choice of, like, not. I think there was a job that I was thinking about that, like, Angular was listed, so I was diving into that at the time, or there was a job listing close to me. I wasn't exactly interested, but everything was
Gotcha.
interesting in that regard. So yeah, Angular. I thought it was pretty cool. I don't know. It's still TypeScript and it's still front end, but
Yeah,
for
throw,
what it is,
throw it up there, man. Host it someplace.
I should.
And then you got to throw up all your whatever you hosted on. You got to throw that on there too. Easy peasy.
Get people to click.
Yeah, you know.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Let's see. So I would say that you developed an online dating service using C# /.NET, utilizing a C# .NET backend, C# and .NET for the backend. For the backend, and Angular, say slash. For the front end, let's see. So you
4K Ned Flanders says ASP.NET or just .NET.
.NET, I think, is probably.
gotcha.
I feel like fewer and fewer they're not using
Yeah.
ASP.NET anymore, and if you weren't working with it, then you probably have not now heard of it.
Gotcha. Yeah. Let's see. To create a secure, scalable site with responsive dynamic UI on both desktop and mobile. So let's see. Develop the online dating service. It's kind of hard to talk about because I know that this really didn't necessarily go anywhere, but I want to think of some bullet points to fluff this up a little bit or be more specific. So you created would you say the UI was mobile first and responsive?
Yes, it was mobile first. It was pretty responsive. Not to toot my own horn or anything, but I clicked and it responded.
Okay. What did you use a CSS framework
I
as
can
well?
tell you're not a web dev because you.
Yeah, dude. Can't even pretend.
You don't want to get caught up. What responsive generally means is responsive to different screen sizes. So your website looks different on a mobile app and on desktop.
It did.
Yeah.
That's true. But yeah.
It looks different and good, I suppose.
Tailwind, Bootstrap, Material Design. What'd you use for the CSS?
Bootstrap, I think. Oh, I did not list that on that one. Okay.
Oh, hold on a second. There's a little discussion going on in the chat. 4K Ned Flanders says ASP is for web APIs and .NET more for desktop apps. Shotmus goes, I didn't even know ASP.NET and .NET were different. It's like, man, I didn't even know people use those things. I thought we all wrote our backends in Go.
For a recruiter at this point, I don't think they are different. If I had to.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to
by
for
job
recruiters, but
I mean, for a real Arch Linux Chad like me, who cares?
Let's see, with Angular and TypeScript for the front end, and then you designed and implemented a mobile-first responsive UI using Bootstrap and Sass. Here's a question: if someone offered you a web developer job, would you take it, knowing that you don't like it?
Probably, especially if I got accepted to grad school and
get you taken off the bus.
That's the big thing. Is just I need to stop. But
I also do want to remark that this is indeed an open question: web dev or bus driver?
I mean, like,
honestly,
there's
I don't know.
Question that I would prefer web dev.
I don't know that I would make the same choice.
So,
I mean, I might not have if I had just started driving bus. It was a pretty cool job, early 20s. Like, you got paid pretty well for the number of hours. There's big chunks of free time in the middle of your day, but it's.
Plus, you have that absolute banger of a song to sing the entire day, The wheels on the bus go round and round, round. And I mean, that absolutely slaps. There's the div on the screen doesn't go center, doesn't go center, doesn't go center, it doesn't.
Yeah, there isn't a catchy jingle for web dev. That's true.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and for the database, you used SQLite and I assume some ORM entity framework.
Yeah, the entity, whatever the C# one is called, I think it's entity framework now. It used to be MVC, but yeah, it's part of the .NET ecosystem. Is the one I used.
Gotcha. Okay, so I've got 3 bullet points here. We'll go ahead and throw in the stream chat. that is like a very rough start, I would say. So you developed an online dating service using C# and ASP.NET for the backend, or I'll just say C# and .NET for the backend, with Angular and TypeScript for the front end. You design and implement a mobile-first responsive UI using Bootstrap and Sass, and you implemented the database layer utilizing Entity Framework atop SQLite. Those are, I would say, not great even by my own standards, but they're a good start. And it's something that lets you say, hey, I've done development, I've done it professionally as a freelancer. What other projects did you work on? Because I asked you if you worked on others, and you said you didn't say no. So there's more. Tell me what they are.
I've done a couple little automation scripts for my wife.
You talking Python?
What?
You talking Python?
Yeah, Python.
Was your wife happy?
Yeah.
Was she more likely to help you out in the ways a wife does, cooking, cleaning around the house, whatever afterwards? That sounds like compensation to me. Sounds like professional experience.
Sure.
Let's get this bad boy going.
Yeah.
Let's
See,
go.
This is the kind of feedback that I was like hoping for. Because honestly, I'd open my resume and I would stare at it for 5 minutes, and then I'd be like, fuck this, and I would open some project or another and actually do something. But that, ironically, by itself doesn't make you more likely to get hired. So I had to bite the bullet and talk to someone, but they did not give this kind of I was hoping for better ways to say the things that I was already saying, and that is not what I got.
And they pasted in all the top keywords of the week and wrote you some bullshit.
Yeah, it was instructive. I will not deny that there, this is a little, another direction that I would not have gone in on my own that has some merit, right? There's something to it.
I mean, they got you this part.
Yes.
This is important, and if you didn't have this, that would be bad.
And someone asked how much were you paid for this. Say, what's the going rate for a happy ending these days? What I want to do is I want to seize on that, right? I want to seize on the freelance software development.
Seize on the happy ending?
That's good.
Oh, no, sorry. Sorry, carry on.
But I love the projects too. I love the systems programming stuff that shows an immense amount of passion. It's great. But once you get to an actual engineering manager, you can't list projects as work experience because they're projects. So what you can do is say, hey, I made some C# and .NET stuff. I did some Python as well. But really what I'm all about is systems programming, allocators, and that's where you hit them with the razzle dazzle, right? You let them know.
Yeah. So
you automated stuff for your wife in Python. What'd you automate, if you're at liberty to say? Or if you're not at liberty to say, then kind of discuss the...
I really appreciate that we live in a world where the razzle dazzle is not the beautiful front end with the flashing animations and the stuff flying around. The razzle dazzle is 2,000 lines of procedural rust.
If you got it, flaunt it.
Smoke them if you got them, boys.
She's a librarian, and she does a lot with... she's an academic librarian specifically, so she does a lot with helping students learn how to, look in databases for things. And so a lot of here's how you structure a query. Here's a little script so stuff of that nature. No one thing was very substantial, I would say, but they're,
Bullshit.
I've done a number.
Hold on. See,
Okay,
this is the thing.
Well,
You're
Go easy on my
work.
guess. Moves.
You are putting yourself down so much right? You're saying like,
Sure.
oh, well, this wasn't really significant. I don't really consider it like that big of a deal. That doesn't. First of all, there's not very many people that can actually like write programs that do stuff. Also, this accomplished, like, I'm certain, a great deal of stuff. And also, it's going in your resume. Even if you don't think very much of it yourself, that's not what matters. What matters is that they think a lot about it and that you can explain what it did and the value that it added, right? You
Yeah,
picking up what I'm putting down? So
right now, I'm just trying to be, candid. I'm not like I'm trying to say I'm not going to oversell it right now. Like if you want to help me oversell it, I'm.
Oh no, hold on.
You know,
We're going to appropriately sell it, given your
Yeah.
skill set.
exactly.
Fair. Okay, fair. You got to get in that mindset 100% of the time, so not just when you pick up the phone for an interview.
All I'm saying, man, is every time I come on here and declare myself to be the greatest programmer in the world, I'm just appropriately selling myself. What can I say?
You don't want to oversell yourself for certain, but keep in mind the resume and job applications. The whole point is to shill yourself.
Yeah.
So you strike a balance.
I think that's a good T-shirt. It's just be you and me both giving a thumbs up and it just says "shill yourself" at the bottom.
Okay. These Python scripts. Let's get to that. So these students, they're trying to learn how to. You said write queries. Are we talking SQL? Are we talking ISBN?
So the way the libraries are set up, they just have access to a bunch of databases, and my wife and I were actually just talking about I wonder to what degree you have to go, you're obligated to go through the school's portal to access them, or whether you could do some web scraping to see how do they prioritize things, because it's all proprietary. There's not we know more about Google.
Okay,
know more about Google's. Go ahead. What?
We need to cut through the drag. What did your Python do? What were the students doing? How did they interact with your code?
So it basically just it's a lot of hey, let's look, find these keywords, what is associated with this in the database. What are the author defined keywords? What are the the frequent words, and just
go a layer down. You were scraping these things using what, Python, you said?
Yeah. Just scraping them and doing.
Did you provide an interface as well?
Yes, in
Beautiful.
the form of a Python script that you could run and a README.
A CLI tool.
CLI tool. Yes.
Okay, so you were scraping a proprietary application to provide a better interface via a Python CLI. Would that just is that an accurate description of what this program did?
More or less. It's I like the vibe. I get it. I could that's accurate. Sure.
Those are very non-committal words.
Yeah, we only commit here.
My frustration is rising.
See, that I definitely, that is my weakness. So I apologize for that.
So you have this proprietary application. It sucks ass, as all proprietary applications do.
Except for macOS. And Overleaf. Is Overleaf a proprietary app? I guess it's a web app. Overleaf is good.
The search on this proprietary database sucks. I assume you can only view it through some sort of web interface or XML crap. Am I on target there?
That is correct. Or that, yes.
Was it web or XML?
Web.
Well, I mean, to be fair, web is XML.
Yes.
Yeah. It's
Okay, so you have this web interface. It sucks, and you're scraping it. You're providing a better search interface via a Python command line interface, and this command line tool. So you scrape the data. What do you do with it? Are you searching for keyword frequency? Are you doing a search engine? Are you doing fuzzy matching?
Are you storing it in a
Levenshtein
database?
I maybe shouldn't say whether I'm storing it in a database.
Yes, you should. Don't worry.
What I'm saying is yes, but probably not supposed to be.
Oh, I see. It's proprietary information. That's the problem.
Yeah, right.
I wouldn't worry about it too much. I wouldn't worry about it too much. You'll probably be all right.
Yeah, I get what you're.
I'm going to tell you why it doesn't matter. Your school is already paying for a license to access the software. Once they have the information, it is totally up to them to do whatever the fuck they want with it for their internal use.
Put on a
you.
record.
Yeah.
Neither of us are lawyers. This may be bad advice.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not a lawyer, but I do actually I do know a thing or two about copyright law. And yeah, like if you have a game, for example, that you modify yourself, right? And you're like, oh,
Sure.
I'm modding my game. I'm playing it single player. You can't have police come down and like arrest you for that, right? So if you buy and own software,
I guess
you
yeah.
can't redistribute that necessarily to other people, but you can mess with it as much as you want for your own use. So already, like, you don't have to worry about that. So did you store the stuff in a database, yes or no? Also, don't even mention the fucking proprietary application by name. It's not worth it, right? SQLite, JSON, MongoDB.
I was doing SQLite, but I've actually been thinking about trying to do Terso. So that
You're going to want to move it to Postgres for no reason other than that everybody uses Postgres.
Sure.
Okay.
So that's fair.
This is the most amount of clawing I've ever had to do to get a story out of something.
You're going to have to shill yourself a little better.
Okay,
shill
so
yourself.
This proprietary application's fucking garbage. You scrape out the information, you store it in a SQLite database. What transformations were you making to the data? So obviously, you mentioned, I believe, tagging, searching word frequency, Levenshtein distance.
Yes, did all of those. And I'm trying to remember exactly what it was because there was a fair amount of just going through pandas and
Pandas.
Oh yeah, I guess yeah. Yep.
Pandas. You forgot to mention pandas? Come on, you got to throw in pandas.
What can I say? I like that. This is not my. This is not the domain where I know the value of what I'm doing very well.
Mention everything.
Well,
get it all out there.
Less sticks out as a result is what I'm saying. Like
No. The stuff you want to stick out, you put
I'm getting put on the spot.
The stuff you want to stick out, you put on the dedicated spot at the top. The stuff that's just incidental, that's also neat, you throw those down. You bury them inside your open source contributions.
Sure.
Or your projects.
I have a feeling. Let me ratchet down my pressure a little bit, okay? I'm coming on too strong.
He's giving you too much bad cop, and I'm not giving enough good cop. We're going bad cop, funny cop right now. It's fucking up the whole thing.
So, I can already say you've made something of really good value here. This is very good stuff to put on a resume, right? The fact that you're doing this fuzzy matching, you're doing what is effectively scraping and an ETL here, extract, transform, load. Like, this is all great stuff. Is it systems engineering? Not necessarily, but if you mention these things, you can probably, I would say, get a job doing like some writing Python, right? Or doing some front end stuff, or web stuff, web backend ideally, right? Which is not as torturous as front end. You can certainly land something there and then you can do your college work, get the systems, engineering degree that you want. And then if you have a body of programming experience in addition to a degree, like by the time you're done with that degree, you should be able to get a job doing systems programming a lot easier than you would otherwise. So that's what I'm thinking along the lines of at least. So you back to the library stuff. You have this proprietary application. It's not working very well. You're scraping the data. How are you scraping the data?
Well, I did not. I used Postman and use that to mostly trial and error to see like what exactly, like rather than digging around to see what the school was sending, just doing a lot of trial and error to figure out what the basic get post.
Side comment, in the Discord, join anytime I'm in the Hangout chat, and I will teach you how to use the browser tools to do this so much easier.
I believe. Okay, yes, I noted. I think is what I should say to that. Yeah.
And then you wrote Python to automate gathering all that information.
Yep. And
yeah, we might actually have to move on to some of the other people in the stream waiting list.
That's fine.
But this energy, that's what's important when it comes to your resume. If there's one thing we can teach today, it's that energy, because we definitely didn't actually, we rewrote one thing. That's about all we did here.
Okay.
Moose, you seem like you're thinking.
Okay, if you look in the stream chat, I've been taking some notes. So, we're starting to get to the good stuff, right? You're scraping a proprietary application to provide a better search interface via a Python CLI. What you're actually describing here, the trial and error stuff, is you are reverse engineering a proprietary API.
Ooh.
Yep. That's
REST API.
what I'm looking for. Where is? Okay, I am feeling stupid. Where is the?
You know what?
I'm
I don't
not
think he has
seeing
access
a
to that
text
chat.
panel.
I think that's the chat that like you can't get
Oh,
into. Just
Okay,
DM it
okay.
to him. Just DM.
Yeah. Here we go. Message.
I will accept.
Message. Oh yeah, there you go. Add friend.
Reverse
Also-
engineering a proprietary API. Damn.
See, these
Hey.
are the things that I would never like. You've talked to me for what, like half an hour,
For free, mind
45 minutes. Well, thanks for reminding me. And I feel like you can tell that these are not the things that I would spontaneously decide to write about myself.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, Mr. Larson, see us after class. We'll get this thing going.
yeah. Thanks so much, guys, for your time. This
thank you.
was so helpful. And yeah,
All right. Before you go, I got to give
Had a great
I got to give a review. We
Got
review
two of them.
we give a review on resumes. We put them in various levels of heaven, purgatory, or hell. So this one on the left, I'm gonna give. I'm gonna put this in recruiter hell, which is the same as hell level 1, but it's specifically designed for recruiters. And then this one is gonna go into hell 2, which is a worse hell, but only because it's in the wrong order. You put these things a little bit lower. You put these a little bit higher, and then you make your experience this thing.
You also have experience that you just don't mention, and that is maybe the worst thing to do.
Yeah, this isn't being a real G. You don't want to move in silence, like lasagna.
no lasagna here.
No lasagna here. You got it. All right. Well, I'm going to unceremoniously dump you into the Hangout chat. Any final words?
No, thanks so much.
All right. Fantastic. Thanks for coming on. All right. So now Thomas has just been waiting this entire time to come on here. So now that Thomas has been waiting, you want to just chat about random stuff for 10 minutes, Moose? What are you thinking?
No. Get his ass in here.
Get his ass in here. All right. Thomas, what's going on?
Hello.
How you doing?
Fine.
Your
Bless you
resume
for your
is a
patience.
zip file. This better not be a fork bomb or something.
Ah. You got
Whoa!
lots of formats to choose from.
Whoa! All right, so we got the resume.pdf.
Yeah.
All right. 420-6969. All right, now
I just
this is
went
crazy.
on Google
This is
Docs
crazy.
and
We got a resume.txt as well that I can edit.
yeah, I did everything. I just
course.
exported all file formats.
Here, I'm gonna get my new favorite non-code editor. You ready for this? Paper. You guys familiar with this? Paper.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Paper.
All right, can I just drag this in? Oh, that didn't work.
Familiar with Pape Changer, but
All right, that one. All right, hold on. Let me throw open a worse editor real quick, and then copy that, and then paste it in there. Beautiful. The paper editor is where it's at. All right. So let's get into it. Thomas, last name, U.S. lawful permanent resident. Welcome to America. Congratulations.
thank you.
How do you like it here?
Fine. It's fine.
Good.
It's cool.
A little disappointed
Yeah.
you didn't say it's amazing, but you know, I'll take what I can
It
get.
is.
I'm
It's way better than than where I was from. So yeah.
fair enough. Good to hear that you're liking America. So let's see what back-end engineer. Okay.
Now, wait, I can't recall, Thomas, if I had looked at this in
Yeah.
private, or were you on
I
the
was in
stream?
a train station.
Right, yeah.
I got and yeah, I like joined the stream at the end.
Wait a second. You were on a train
Basically.
station. That doesn't sound very American to me.
What?
We don't do.
I was at the airport.
Oh, that makes sense.
Okay. I don't assume you have the previous version, do you?
I don't want to see the previous version. Let's
Okay, we don't
let's
have to.
always
We don't
move
have to.
forward, man.
It's
Never mind.
probably in the resume review.
No, I delete
That-
all those.
We'll have to start archiving. No, it doesn't matter for now.
shit.
Okay.
Yeah, probably not.
All right. So
Right away, format I love.
Thank you.
The monospace font with the normally spaced headers. I like it. I like this style here. Thomas last name.
The headers are like Calibri or something, and the all the rest is monospace, I think.
respect a man who knows his fonts. Good work on that.
I like the header just a lot. The contact information, backend engineer, you link your GitHub, amazing. Email, very concise, doesn't take up a lot of space. Right into skills: Rust, Python, Bash Shell, Go, JavaScript, TypeScript, C, C++, Java, Groovy.
You got C and C++
So-
separated. I like that.
Databases:
Yeah.
PostGRE, Squall, MySQL,
PostgreSQL,
Split,
MySQL,
Ideal.
Squilete, MongoDB.
tools, Linux, I'll accept it. Kubernetes, Docker, HashiCorp, Vault, Jenkins, CI/CD, GitLab, Helm, Ansible, Azure DevOps, Azure Repos, AWS. Languages: English, fluent, Portuguese, native, Spanish, basic. Awesome.
Wow.
That's muchos buenos.
I had German on that, but I was like, if anyone asks me to speak German, it's like really, really basic. So I just took
Guten
it
Morgen.
off. Wie geht es dir?
All right. Languages, I mean, I think you speak pretty. I'll leave it. Good flex. Also, I think there are a lot of companies that work with like contractors and stuff in Latin America, so you might actually have an edge there. Work experience: company DevOps engineer, February 2022 to January 2024. Do you work here?
Last week.
Wait, last week was the last?
Last day.
Oh damn! So this is
Ooh.
like an emergency resume review.
I
Yeah.
I,
Did
I
you-
won't ask for
I'm
Sorry.
absolutely gonna ask. Did you get fired? Or did you quit? What happened?
Well, kind of
Did you get laid off?
both. No, I didn't quit. Yeah, I
okay.
got fired, kind of got laid off, because I worked for a company that did consulting for other companies.
Mm,
So, and then, I worked for company A. They did consulting for company B.
that makes sense.
Company B is like, I stayed like a year there. New manager came in, just started like firing everyone. You know, shit happens. And well, yeah. They said they were like doing budget cuts or something, but that was like clearly bullshit. But you know.
Oh, they cut their
Yeah,
budget
and
all right. That's not
then-
bullshit. They got rid of you.
No. That's bullshit.
okay.
Yeah.
So you weren't fired. The
and then-
affectionate term I use is
okay.
you got quit, right?
Yeah.
They
and
basically
then
terminated you
I
without
was-
severance, right?
And then I was like still working for company A. They kept me on payroll for like a couple of months, like 2 or 3. Was like since December. So yeah, like 2 months. They tried to find me a new project. It didn't work out, and you know, then they were like, okay, well, we tried.
Fair enough. So
I
that's-
can like explain more about the company B situation.
Oh, no, don't worry
but,
about it.
It's like,
Don't worry
yeah,
about it.
I won't get
You-
into it right now. We can talk about it later. But
All right.
So the key thing to derive here is whenever you're leaving a company, I suppose this is worth mentioning just generally. It's oftentimes in interviews you'll be asked for a push and a pull, right? Or why are you leaving your current company? The best way to phrase that is as a push and a pull. What's pushing you away from a company? What's pulling you into a company? Why do you want to work for someone? Why do you not want to work for your current person?
I
With this-
have a perfect answer
Yeah,
already, because this company I was working for like remotely,
hold on.
but in Brazil.
I want to cut you short.
So,
The answer to
Okay.
this one is that you got laid off. That's it.
Uh-huh.
That's what happened. They can say they fired you because they don't want to give you severance or whatever the fuck, right? You got laid off. That's what it is. So you rewrote a legacy file converter and parser, modernizing and better structuring it, leading to a more concise code base, reduced total processing time from over 15 minutes to under 5 seconds. Okay.
this was I talked to you about this one. This was the YAML to Groovy file converter.
Yikes.
Remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, it's hard to forget.
have to almost say which one because I have talked to several people now who have had to deal with bullshit YAML conversions. This
It's
I-
YAML to Jenkins Groovy jobs.
right. Okay, not the YAML to rule engine. That's someone else. If I ever hear someone say that they want to structure something in YAML, I will kill them.
Kill
No, I'll quit. I'll quit before I kill them. In Minecraft.
I took out
So,
the ampersand.
So the only thing, yeah, so modernizing and better structuring it, if you say modernizing and restructuring it, it reads a little bit better. So that's a
Okay.
quick and easy thing.
Okay. So created, maintained, and developed Jenkins pipelines supporting dozens of teams, developed internal tools used to determine the status and health of various internal services. I recall reading these.
I did like so much more stuff there, but you know, I didn't know what to put there and what not to put there.
So I think the work experience looks a little light compared to your open source contributions and projects. I would put the projects higher than the open source contributions because it's like you want to do it in vaguely the order of what they're going to be looking for. So I put the open source contributions
Okay.
lower, and then I would just get rid of open source contributions as your experience in both of these jobs grows more. Because
Well,
it's a little light on work experience right now, I think.
Well, hold on. There's some pretty good open source contributions in
I
here.
know, but the open source contributions
Last time
aren't
you
as
told me
useful.
the exact opposite.
I know. You had way too many open source. You had way too many work experience and almost no open source. Now you have slightly too many open source, and you're a little bit light on work experience. It's like you need to find a happy medium. You know, just like if the work experience goes to like here, like it's like a 3-4 line difference. You know what I'm saying?
I would say, let's see, HTMX, Trello, Rust, Trello clone, made with HTMX, Hyperscript, Actix, Mod, and SQLX. Autovor command line interface written in Rust, aiming to facilitate punching time in the Endeavor platform. Wake on LAN server, I recall that. Thunder, an AWS wrapper that makes Boda 3 easier to use. So I would almost say, like, cut out a couple of these projects.
No, don't cut the projects. Cut the open source. The projects are yours, and that's like your stuff that you've done. The open source stuff is somebody else's thing that you've helped with, which is good. But if we just get rid of like your 2 least impactful contributions, move the contributions
It's
below
the
projects.
Cloudflare Go one. That one's pretty cool.
I would say it's not super easy to jump into an open source code base oftentimes, get up to speed with what's going on, and then make some commits. I think the stuff with the kernel improvements to Serenity OS, I would put at the top. I think that's like really great. The bug fix in Cloudflare Go, I think that's awesome.
I don't think so. You gotta take a look at it.
Yeah, if it's just a quick
Open that
bug
one.
fix. All right, look, please.
Yeah,
I'll take a
that's
gander.
like pretty minor. It was like a couple days ago. You can click on the bug fix. It will take you directly to the.
Oh, that's pretty good then.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at these. Yeah, don't include this. Get rid of that. That can go away.
Don't you?
Okay.
Yeah, get that shit out of here.
But I recall you had some others that were pretty significant contributions that when you clicked on, it was like,
There's a
Those
couple
are
of them.
the utils. Holy sh! I thought I had taken them out. No, they're there.
multiple contributions. Utils, core utils. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I remember we were
So-
saying just link to this.
Yeah.
I mean, this stuff is great. This was amazing.
Take the most comprehensive open source contributions you've done and put those at the top.
Okay.
Take the like literal one character fix.
Nah, that was the only one character fix, basically.
Yeah. That can go. The projects, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would say projects, knock it down to the 3 that you're most proud of. Because you got to make some space to talk about more work experience.
Nate, this one was merged in a single commit. Remember, I told you.
Yeah. You're telling me about
last
that.
time, yeah.
Yeah. So if you get rid of one open source contribution in one project and then replace that space with more work experience, I think this will be prime time.
Okay. Actually there are only 2 new contributions, which is the Cloudflare stuff. It's both of the Cloudflare commits. Those are new. The others were already there.
Yeah.
So the Cloudflare stuff,
They're gonna be sitting there.
Borington, Cloudflare RS, less driver for the Cloudflare v4 API. So of these 3 bug fixes, which was the most difficult to do and identify?
Borington. Like by far.
Nate, would you entertain me and click on that file descriptor leak?
It just like took me a lot of time. Not a lot of time, but like 2 hours or so to find out what I had to actually change.
Ooh, scroll up real quick. Nate, I want to read that comment up there. That he added. The only other struct that holds event ref is the device, which will necessarily be dropped before event pull. So closing all the file descriptors is fine. This is inefficient, but shouldn't be a problem. As a developer, I like those comments. I like that you're, documenting the edge cases, you're handling it, and even though
the
this
test is also documented.
Yeah. Even though this is like a relatively small commit, the fact that like if this is hard for you to identify and you can really speak to it in an interview, I think it's worth keeping. The other 2 bug fixes, you can do it.
It's like if I knew the project already, this wouldn't be hard at all. Like I could crap this out in 15 minutes, but like I saw the issue. I thought, like file descriptor leak sounds interesting because this shouldn't happen in Rust. And then I went to take a look at it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's neat. And yeah, of course, I mean, if you made a project, if you worked on it, right, if that was your full-time job, you'd see no problem. But of course, that's not how open source is so often. So open source contributions, Cloudflare RS, knock that out. Cloudflare Go, knock that out. You could probably also nix one more. Projects of the 5, I'd only keep 3. 3 is a nice number as well for, just things in general. It's a happy number, likely to keep someone's attention. And then, yeah, a lot more on the work experience. I mean, if I remember from
Not
last
a lot
time,
more, like 3 more bullet points or 2 more bullet points.
Yeah, absolutely. And also rewrote a legacy file converter and parser, modernizing and better structuring it. I'd have to look at our feedback last time, but did I do a rewrite of some of this stuff? Fuck, I need to start like documenting this stuff better.
Yeah. Let me find, and it's in my chat with Nate.
Shit, yeah.
I'm gonna send it in the resume review chat.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a pretty good rough template to follow.
That's what you guys told me to change last time, and that's what I came up with.
So, so this is the product of that?
Yeah, because it's one thing, I didn't want it to split it into 2 bullet points.
You can split it. You can have a good amount of bullet points for this. So, reduce total processing time from over 15 minutes to under 5 seconds. The processing time, what was the processing time for? Was this for deploys? Was this for testing?
No, it was the file conversion.
File conversion, right. Okay. And the file conversion, was this a part of a CI/CD pipeline, or was this just a one and done deal?
Okay, so it was necessary to build the Jenkins image. So every time a YAML file changed, this process runs on like, I don't know, 1,000 YAML files, and it converted everything to build the Docker image. Trust me, yeah, but that's how it was built years ago.
Okay, so instead of saying processing time, you could say build time, because that's what this was component to. Because what I'm reading here is that previously, if they changed one of these things, it would take 15 minutes to build.
lot more than that, but yeah.
A lot more than that.
Yeah, because
And
it's like most of the time was spent in like cloning, and the other time it's like converting the files.
Yeah, if you can
Uh,
reducing build time is in some ways, especially if you're looking for more DevOps work, that's way better than some sort of processing time, because maybe the processing time is just some processing time on some server somewhere that runs and
Okay.
emails something to someone, but build time is like, you can't develop if builds are too slow.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that absolutely zaps my productivity. To this day, is just if something takes more than a few seconds to get a loop on, I'm gonna get distracted and I'm gonna go work on something else or forget about it and watch TV or whatever. So this is
Yeah.
reducing total build time. That's very, very impactful, especially as a DevOps person.
Okay. Well, I already changed this one then.
Yep.
and I would
Could I add
say
on the Althover that I reverse engineered their proprietary API?
Absolutely,
Because it
absolutely,
did that.
100%. That might be the top banger out of this whole thing, Mooseius. I think you've hit a new peak with reverse engineered a proprietary API.
Yeah.
I want that on a T-shirt.
that's that is a bit out of firsthand experience. That I actually had to do that at my first job. With MakerBot Desktop was the software, and they had like a whole bunch of like internal proprietary. Well, they took something that was open source, and then stopped developing it open source.
Oh, the bad.
But they were.
thing.
Yeah, it's a long story. MakerBot as a company made some very bad missteps like 10 years ago, but they were using like these internal command line calls in their software, and I had to like reverse engineer all of that. So I was reverse engineering APIs, and I've also had to do that for Kivo and a whole bunch of other stuff. But that is often so much the difference to an organization. It's like, yeah, we have this proprietary bullshit. We can't get rid of it. We need to work with it more comprehensively. And it's like, all right, got to reverse engineer it somehow, right? Whatever that is, overloading something till it freezes, doing network inspections, freaking putting Ghidra to work, whatever it takes.
Ghidra.
Or
That's nice.
using my favorite tool, unironically Erlang or Elixir, because binary matching is actually very good for reverse engineering shit.
I also did like some stuff, which was like I built a bunch of web scrapers, but I don't know where to mention it.
Mention that as well. That's
Just
good
like
stuff.
put it in freelance and put that in there.
You had another. Was this something you did concurrently with your DevOps work, or was this before?
Currently before, on and off. I just like do that stuff when I need to. The last thing I did was for like my aunt. She needed to was the North Carolina DMV website. It was a bitch.
I would say if you did freelance work between your internship at bank and being a DevOps engineer, I would add that as well, right? That's a good years of experience that recruiters are going to value, and then you can cut it at February 2022 because I'm certain by the time you started there, your primary focus was on
Yeah,
your
it was
DevOps position.
I did it like during my DevOps work. It's just like something on the side.
Yeah. But that's the key, right? You did it on the side. At that point, it wasn't your main bread and butter.
No, definitely not.
And that's just the key, right? It's not the thing that you're trying to communicate is like, look, I was doing this thing at this time, but when I had this role, this was my priority, right? I wasn't like gaming a system doing two jobs at once, right? And it's not it's not a lie. It's just that you don't want people to read something the wrong way. That's it.
Yeah.
Now, if you were taking time out of your workday to go to your side hustle, right? You had like the two computers open, and you had one of those like little pecker things clicking on the mouse. That also, don't mention that. No self-reports here.
Yeah.
Shill yourself. No self-reports.
That's right. Shill yourself.
Okay. Fair enough.
So yeah, I mean, otherwise, looking at the rest of this stuff. Sorry if it looks like I'm trying to just shoo you off the stage. You know, if I have my cane,
No,
I'm
I
pulling
know,
you off the stage. It's just
late.
it's late, and I'm yawning up a storm over here. So just real quick, this first line, we can help you rewrite this. It's a little bit clunky right now, but it'll be fine. Otherwise, remove maybe 2 open source contributions, maybe 1 project. Fill in that space with your freelance work. That builds up a more cohesive, continuous work history. Otherwise,
Buff work experience, basically. Right. Yeah.
So don't go too small on the open source and projects. Then otherwise, excuse me, all this stuff is well laid out. You have links on everything. Probably try to do something to indicate how many years of experience and the different languages and tools. Otherwise, yeah, this is all right. Moose, any final thoughts?
We might do a special resume review stream at some point for those who cannot be around on Friday evenings, and that might be a good time to come back and workshop some of the stuff more. That's all.
Yeah, we will be scheduling a special resume review stream for religious exemptions to the Friday night thing. All right. Final verdict on this. I'm gonna go with. You know what? In its current
9 out of
state,
10.
it's not bad. I'm gonna put you in heaven 1.5.
Yeah. What's the max level of heaven though?
I don't know. A high
Okay.
number, I guess.
I think the highest we've gone is 3.
Yeah, the
It's
highest
like-
we've gone is 3. But like, if I was to review my own resume, heaven 28. Moose's probably heaven like
Oh. No.
probably like purgatory. Anyway,
My resume, if I'm honest right now, the way it is unironically hell. But that's because I'm trying to get a very specific job that I don't already have. I have some work experience in it, but not like a ton. So I have to really sell myself in. I've got some stuff lined up. So we'll see how these interviews
Taylor
go.
made it.
good stuff. All right, Thomas, any final remarks before I unceremoniously dump you into the Hangout chat and then say goodbye to the audience?
Well, not much. Thank you guys again.
Well, thanks for coming on. Thanks for being a good sport again. All right.
Yeah, nice.
Well, Mooseius, we did it again. Yet another banger stream.
Going on 2.5 hours.
Going on 2.5
I,
hours.
Did not intend to talk that much. I told myself I was going to be more concise, but well, here we are.
I mean, tonight was the night to be less concise. I mean, if we get a bunch of people in there, we'll have to cut it down. I'll be a little bit more bad cop on the talking, but you know. Shotmus is he sent the sad emoji, and that was Thomas. So I guess he's sad to go, and I empathize. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. Moose, final remarks.
https://mosie.us and good night and farewell.
All right, good night and farewell.